Hello, I'm just going to show you a really quick and simple recipe for making Chinese egg tomato. This is something that I only tried about a year ago. A friend of mine's daughter made it to a traditional Chinese recipe and it was absolutely delicious, so I thought I'd have a try. I'm not a particularly good cook and I've made this earlier in the week and it was fantastic, so it's a really nice easy recipe to follow. So the first thing that you do in the recipe, first thing you need, let's start with the ingredients. You need I'm making enough for 2 people, but I want quite big portions. So I'm using 6 eggs. We have our own chickens, so we always have loads of eggs. So this is a really good use of it. If you want to cut the recipe down, you could use 4 eggs and cut down on the tomatoes. Maybe use 2 tomatoes, but I've got some tomatoes that I've grown and some tomatoes that I've bought. So I've got 6 eggs and 3 large tomatoes and 1 little diddy tomato. So the first thing to do is to heat your oil. You can use any seed oil really. I'm going to use this oil today because I don't feel like adding chopping garlic. I'm going to use this crushed garlic oil, which I find is very good. It's a rapeseed oil. So start by adding some oil to my pan. I think you need a fair bit of oil. Okay, I don't remember exactly what the recipe said. I think it was quite vague. Okay, I'm cooking on an arbor, so I'm going to stick the oil onto the hot plate to warm while I chop my tomatoes. Anyway, back to the, I suppose I should probably, I'm going to chop the tomatoes first. I was going to say I should probably do the eggs because, but I'm going to go for the tomatoes first. I have to be really careful actually because this is a really sharp knife. I don't really like using this knife because it's so sharp. So just chop your tomatoes into nice segments, not too big because you want them to cook quickly. Let's do these are lovely ripe tomatoes, so this is a really good use for them. Sometimes if you leave tomatoes too long and you don't use them, they start to go mouldy at this time of year because it's been really warm the last week. I thought I needed to use these up. We've been growing tomatoes in our conservatory this year, which has been lovely. Conservatory is too hot to use in summer, so it's a great use of it. I must get my salt ready as well because this recipe does need salt in it to give it some flavour. Okay, let's have a look at the oil. Come back to the oil. Okay, if you're cooking on a normal cooker, you just need to warm heat the oil up to quite a hot temperature because you want the tomatoes to sizzle when they go into it. I'm not sure that's quite hot enough yet. We can pop a bit of tomato in and see. I can smell the garlic aroma coming off the oil. This is a lovely oil. No, you see, that's not quite ready yet. So let's give it a little bit longer till it starts to sizzle. Okay, while I'm waiting for the oil to sizzle, I'm going to sort the eggs out. Okay, so I've got 2 bowls here. Let's get the knife out of the way. 2 bowls, and I'm just going to crack the eggs into the bowl and hopefully not get too much shell in. Easier said than done. Oh, that's quite that one's quite, so far so good. There's a bit of shell in there. These shells are quite thin actually. I think we may need to put more grit into the chicken's food. The eggs have been really good this year because we've had some landscaping done. And the digger has been here a lot and the chickens have loved it because they've been eating lots of worms, which means they've been getting lots of grit. But actually the digger's finished now and I can tell looking at these shells, they are quite brittle and so they need a bit more grit in their diet. Okay, let me see, just check the egg mixture to see if you've got any shells in there. I'm just going to quickly wash my hands there. I'm just going over to the sink and give my hands a quick wash. Because after I've been handling eggs, I always think it's advisable when you've been handling raw egg, just give your hands a quick wash, have a bowl full of soapy water ready. Because eggs and chicken products of any sort are high risk for food poisoning. So even though our chickens are free range and there's only 3 of them, I still always wash my hands if I've been handling the eggs. Anyway, you can see the tomatoes now sizzling. Woohoo! Okay, I'm going to put the rest of the tomato in. So let's just tip it in. And I'm going to get my spatula. Let's give it a move around. Oh, I don't think I've managed not to chop that one up. So back to the chopping board. How did I manage that? Okay, you want them quite small as they'll cook much quicker. Okay, and let's pop that in the bread. So, as you can see, these are sizzling away. The more ripe the tomatoes are, the quicker they will cook. So they shouldn't take very long. Anyway, I'm just going to leave them there while I process my egg mixture. So I'll put the Oh, I've missed the tomato. I'll put the eggshells out the way now. I'll probably put those into my compost bin and into my fast composter. Then we can go back into the soil. Right, the next thing to do is to whisk the eggs up with some salt, and let me just find my whisk. Okay, so I'm just going to whisk the egg. Ooh, there's a bit of shell there. Make sure you get all the shell out, because it's not nice if you eat the shell. It wouldn't do you any harm, but it's just not particularly pleasant. Right, so I'm going to now whisk my eggs. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water to the egg mixture. Okay. And then I'm going to wash my hands again. See, I'm quite a messy cook. I do seem to manage to get a lot of the mixture on myself. So I always wear an apron when I'm cooking or doing anything around the house. I could really do with wearing an apron at all times. I find life is messy. Right. Okay. So let me find the salt. So there's my egg mixture. I'm just going to add a good sprinkling of salt. Mix it in. So that's ready now. You can add pepper if you want to. I think I'm just going to add the salt today because I really want the flavour of the tomatoes to come through in this recipe. You can serve it with whatever you like. The Chinese usually serve it with rice or noodles, which is very good. And I've had that, it's served with rice, particularly good. And the other thing we serve it with is we serve it with toast. So it's like a sort of posh version of scrambled egg. It's really nice for a sort of Sunday brunch meal. And that's probably what I'm going to do with it today. After I finish cooking the mixture, I'll put it to one side and I'll make some toast. Okay, so I'm just moving the tomatoes around the pan with the spatula. They're taking longer than I thought they would to cook. So I know you should have paused the video, but they'll be okay. Okay, next thing I'm going to add is some sugar. Alright, let's measure out the sugar while waiting for the tomatoes to cook. So, this surprised me. The first time I made it, I was really surprised by this, but I think this is what gives it the really good flavour. So, it says 2 teaspoons of sugar. But it really brings out the flavour in the tomatoes. So, I'm going to add that to the tomato mixture now. And cook it in. It really caramelises them. And if you think about it, lots of pasta sauces and tomato sauce, they all have sugar in them. And actually when I make a bolognese, I always add sugar or tomato ketchup to sweeten it. And it really, really enhances the flavour of the tomatoes. So don't be afraid to add some sugar to your cooking. I know sugar's been demonised in recent years. But, you know, it really does enhance the flavour. Okay, they're looking pretty good. So I'm going to now take them and transfer them to another dish. Whoops, I probably should have got the other dish ready. Just bear with me, I'll just need to go and find another dish. I'm just going into my pantry. Find another dish. I love these big stainless steel dishes. I bought them many years ago in IKEA, probably 20 or 30 years ago, a long time ago, and they're still really, really useful to have in the kitchen. So, just put the mixture into the dish. Next thing I'm going to do is just pop that to one side for later, and now we're going to add the egg mixture to the hot pan. Okay, and now this is where the difference with the normal scrambled egg comes in. I'm going to pop this over into the sink, ready to wash up. Oh, I think I might wash my hands again. I really am very careful when I've been washing using raw egg to avoid making myself ill. Okay, just dry my hands now. Okay, right, so there's my egg mixture. So rather than with a scrambled egg, you would now sort of mix this to get it all broken up. What you do with this one is you wait for it to set. It hasn't set yet. And then what you do is you gently, more like an omelette, you gently peel it away from the edges. So I'll be able to show you in a minute as it starts to set. Let's have a look. Are we ready? Yes. So you peel it away and you let the liquid go in. So just gently peel it away. And you can see it forms these nice big pieces of scrambled egg, which is what you want in this recipe, rather than it forming small pieces of scrambled egg. So So for this I'm using a non-stick pan and a plastic, sort of soft rubbery plastic spatula, which is perfect for this. You need to be careful not to burn the egg, so you do need to do it fairly quickly, as I'm on a very, very hot oven this morning. A bit concerned that while I'm talking to you I might actually burn the egg mixture. You can see it's starting to stick. Maybe I didn't add enough oil. Nearly there. So it's still quite wet. I think maybe last time I made this I didn't add the water, so it is taking a little bit longer to go solid. Oh, here we go, it's going. That's nearly done. Okay, I think now I'm going to need to add the tomatoes back in, so before it turns too hard. You can make this to taste, but obviously it's important to make sure you cook the egg. I don't want to eat raw egg. There we go, I'd say that's perfect now. Okay, so let's add the tomatoes back in, just to reheat them. And then we mix them in. And then it will be ready to eat. I'm really looking forward to this. We're having it for brunch, as I said. So now I'll start to mix it in. What happens is the tomatoes will start to flavour the egg. So you get this lovely eggy tomato mixture. You kind of want to distribute the tomatoes as evenly through the egg mixture as you can. Considering how simple this recipe is, it is surprisingly tasty. So this is the second time I've made it this week, because the chickens have gone into overdrive and I've got tomatoes in the conservatory coming ripe this week. Okay. That's quite a wet mixture because I did add water to it. I'm not sure it needed the extra water because quite a lot of water's come out of the tomatoes. But I think it's one of those recipes that every time you do it, it's different. Anyway, I'm going to put this to one side while I make some toast to go with it. And then we'll be having this for our breakfast. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, pop them in comments. I'll be posting the full recipe in the description for anybody who wants to have a go with themselves. Anyway, bye for now.